as we said, there's a year that you have to bring it. So he said it doesn't go by the day, it goes by the hour. Below miyom liyom. We always say it's miyom liyom. Derech mashal. Im nolad be'emsa yom Rosh Chodesh Nisan. If someone was born in the middle of the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, take a b'knisas leil Rosh Chodesh Nisan haboah havalei shana. The year is over when it comes to the first night, the night of Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Like that's what we do by bar mitzvahs, right? Havel kan. But when it comes to before, the Rebbe says, Ein hashana mistayemes ala be'emsa yom. It goes b'shor l'shor, b'shor zu shenolad. Ayin shem shemevi raya. By bar mitzvah, when I spoke in bar mitzvah, I saw ha'ara. So there's a question: what's the first mitzvah a bar mitzvah boy has? So a lot of Meforshim learned that the Masachos Brachos starts with Krishma Shel Arvis, because that's the first mitzvah of the bar mitzvah. Boy, he gets bar mitzvah like we said at night. And the first mitzvah he has to do is Fri Jul. And there's a Chassam Sofer in the Drasha that says the first mitzvah of a bar mitzvah boy is Simcha. So, and I didn't know about this Chassam. I saw the Chassam Sofer while I was preparing for the bar mitzvah Drasha. But I always had fear, why do we say the first mitzvah of a bar mitzvah boy is Krishma? B'chora, there's the 6 mitzvahs Tmidius, so they come first before you Chayiv and Krishma. So I always told myself that those are mitzvahs Shabalev, and that means the first action that he does, even though it's only a dibur, it's still an action, so the first action that he does is, but if you say the first mitzvah is Simcha, it's also B'chora B'lev. So I kind of that the Simcha has to precede both. But even the avodas, the mitzvahs Tmidius have to be done by Simcha.
So he's saying, according to the Chassam Sofer, he's really saying
that Simcha comes before everything. It comes before the mitzvah Shabalev, and it comes before the Krishma. In other words, the first mitzvah is Simcha, and you have to do with Simcha. You have to do the mitzvahs Tmidius. And you have to do the first.
You're saying the first mitzvah in Simcha
is Simcha, and that precedes everything else.
What mitzvah is?
He do a Hashem B'Simcha. He's calling it a mitzvah.
And he's considering mitzvahs. I mean, like
I don't know if he holds this mitzvah actually. They're right. So it's a drasha. He's just saying you do Hashem B'Simcha. So the whole avoda has to be B'Simcha. So maybe the avoda to be. So anyway, but I saw. There's an seed at the beginning of Brachos that says that how could people say that Brachos starts with the mitzvah of Krishma because it's the first mitzvah of a bar mitzvah boy? Because the Gemara over there, right after the Mishnah, asks, how come it starts with Krishma Shel Marav and not Krishma Shel Shacharis? And it brings the Psukim, Yom Leila. So he said, what was the Gemara's kasha? It starts with Marav because that's the first mitzvah the person has. It's the first mitzvah of a bar mitzvah boy. So what was bothering the Gemara? That the Gemara say it starts with Marav because that's we want to go through the first mitzvah that comes upon a person, and that's the first mitzvah of a mitzvah boy.
He's kind of against that argument.
So you see from here that he says the bar mitzvah doesn't start at night because he's going on the shiltus, and the shiltus sheet is that a bar mitzvah is mishal l'shor. I remember once seeing that he says that if the poskim would have known the shiltus, they would have passed him like that because they don't have strong rayas. And they're just saying mitzvah, and here he shiltus is from the Gonim, and he says it goes mishal l'shor. But anyway, he says because
he says the poskim would have passed like the shiltus if they would have known it. But he still doesn't pass like the shiltus.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember that much.
That's that interesting question about when you find something.
I don't know. I don't remember. I wanted to look that up because I'm not so sure if he was machmir like the shiltus, there comes kulas and chumras both both ways. I don't really know what he said. I don't remember that. I just remembered that he said that about the shiltus says mishal l'shor, and the poskim don't do that. He said the poskim didn't see the shiltus. What he came out with my halachik, I don't remember. Anyway, but this was his kasha. He says from the very fact of Maris the kasha, you see that by mitzvah goes mishal l'shor. Also, it's a ride to the shiltus.
So who's the one who asked the first question about the but they begin with brachos because it's the first mitzvah or mitzvah. Who says? I mean,
there's a lot of achronim that say that.
So achronim would say it.
Achronim say, why does the Shas start with Krishna Shal Harvest? Because that's his first mitzvah.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but the fact. But that's
a number of the achronim say it.
So they're saying that, and the
Nasiba is asking on them. So Ebezeh, what's the worst question? Why does it start with Marav and Ashrakas?
Well, he's saying those achronim must have known of the Shiltas?
No, they didn't know the Shiltas. Fakir, he's bringing a raya from the
Gemara.
Gemara.
From the okay, so that's...
the Gemara, like the Shiltas,
yes,
against
so
these achronim.
how do they answer this question? I mean, the question is with the very fact that the Gemara is asking that question,
right?
Then it seems...
see, there's nothing to do with the first mitzvah.
Right, and
that's his kasha.
Right, so he's giving an answer that according to his answer I can explain that the question still stands. But according to these achronim, if they didn't see the Shiltas, right, how's the question still stand?
That's such a strong question. The Gemara should have said this. It's
because questions are, the Gemara is really talking from. What's the answer? I mean, why is the Gemara talk? I'm trying to remember. The Gemara has there's a question why the Gemara even asks why it starts with morning, and it has the answer from the pasuk. But why would he even think morning?
Because Tosafot brings a pasuk. There's a pasuk that starts with Yom and then ends with Laila.
Right. So therefore the
Gemara should have started with Yom.
Right. So, but it has to be. It has to be an argument. I mean, that's the whole problem. The Gemara's question of why start at night is itself like what's the big? Well, of course, I mean, right there, it says Vigil Yom. Well, it's the Yom is day before night. But the fact is that But I'm just trying to remember when I learned brachos. I mean, the fact is the Gemara's question is itself not so. But
I think Tosa says because the pasuk says Yom before Laila. I think that's what Tosa says.
That pasuk
in brachos.
Right, pasuk Yitin Bo Yom Laila.
Torah says Kiddush Pan, but Tommy says Shaboker Tchila.
Right.
The Tommy Shal Yom before the Tommy Shal everybody.
Yeah. I mean, the point is you have to have a reason for the Gemara's. I mean, the Gemara's question. Yeah. I mean, the Gemara's question is the answer seems to say that the question just,
The answers are here, but he's saying the Gemara could have answered. It's the first mitzvah.
Right.
He says if you don't hold like the Shiltas, it's the first mitzvah.
Right. But
that's a strong question. Why the Gemara should have said that reason.
It's when you have that kind of question, it's more. If you can ask this question or start this discussion, and if it's the other way around, you ask the other question, or it's really just. It's one of those questions.
Okay, but here he's saying that anyway, when it comes to Bechor, for some reason, the Teriyevin has a raya. It goes Misha'al L'Shah and not Miyom L'Yom, which we always call Miyom L'Yom. But he doesn't bring his raya, and he doesn't say why. Okay.
The Chasam Sofer is just fascinating. That he would hold the mitzvah of Simcha. Even as Hashem Simcha, even the idea would be. He's actually saying it's such a chashuv inyan.
Right.
I mean,
that's what they all say by that pasuk, by the Tochacha. It says Tachas Shul Avad Hashem Lekecha B'Simcha. So you see the inyan of it.
Even then, right? And that's for sure.
Okay, Vashana. I just want to tell you that my Rebbe is 9:35.
Okay.
They're starting to get earlier.
Okay.
So we have to stop at 9:30.
Okay.
V'shana zu shel bechor. Excuse me, I don't know, for some reason I don't have the voice, but I'm doing it anyway. Imhu tam, if it's a bechor tam, moni mishah hashana mishah shaner lehartzah, when it could be brought as a korban. For Hainu Yom Shmini, because you can't bring a korban before Yom Shmini. So the year starts on the 8th day. B'chor Balmum, which you're not makriv, Im Nolad B'Mumo, if it was born with the mum, so it wasn't going to be ever brought as a korban. Moni Lo Mishor Shenolad, from the time it was, and he's going Mishor because he holds us, goes Mishor L'Shor like the Terevin, from the time it was born. The Dafka B'Yaduish Akol Lo Chadasha, that's we start from that time when we knew that was full, had a full birth, full months.
The Mashma Shenir, Mishah Shenir L'Hartzah,
where you could be makriv,
which is, I guess he's talking about
the morning.
About Shkias. I mean, about the morning. About Netzachama. I mean, he would have to be.
I guess it's kosher for korban. I guess after Alos.
Alos. What am I saying?
Havel beim eina yaduish akol chadashav. But if it was born, you don't know it. If it had a complete, what do you call it? Complete. Time in the womb by man, I guess it's 3 months. Keeping the low chazi lachila, since it's not edible when it was born, because if it was kol chadashav mikra, then you could eat it, right? If it's not kol chadashav, you can't eat it because it might be a nafel. Even the low chazi lachila ad yom shmini sheyatzim yidei safek nafel. So monim hashana gamkin b'yom hashmini, because that's the first time it's roy. Kain is bar b'masachas rishon da'afav beis, v'chein pasuk a Rambam kan perik aleph halacha ches, v'ayin lechamish neshama. I have no idea what he says. V'shach every day. So he's saying, so he's not going to go into it. So it comes out the Gemara says like this: by a balmum, if it was born a balmum and it was called chadashu, so certainly you start the year from that time that it was born. If it wasn't for sure, if it was a suffix called chadashu, so it's not roy till the 8th day. So therefore, you start the year from the 8th day.
Isn't the 8th day? Does he give him a phrase that it's on a navel? I mean, you're not saying that it was.
The mice, you couldn't eat it then. Let's look at the next question. We'll see. But Tiriyevin Hiksha. The Tiriyevin asks the kasha on the Gemara. The afilu below yaduish a kol chadashav, even if it's a suffix of kol chadash or not. Kiva minator roy lachila minator, you're allowed to eat it. Why? Because rov yodo spar b'nei kayama. Because there's a rov that it's a bar kiyum. And Rishonim Yeridei Siman Tezvav Sif Beis. Im Kain Heed Rabbanan Osir Bachil until the 8th day. And Mikol Makom, that's Dafka Lahachmer, that you shouldn't eat it until the 8th day. Alba Manolan Lahakal Divrei Torah. But since B'deraisa you're allowed to eat it, it's because of the rov, so the Shana should start from that time. So if you're going to start the Shana from the 8th day, you're being Mekel, because you're giving him another 8 days to eat it. So keeping them in the Torah, Nishlam Hashana Miyom Shanolad. So how could you be Mekel and give them an extra 8 days? Ayin Sham Shochiach Mizah. The Balmum Einu Be'esli Lechol Tok Shana. The whole, we had this before, that Tamachronim hold the whole Shana business is only by, Minaraisa is only by a time and not by a Balmum. So that's the Terabin's Raya, because there is no Inyan by Balmum the rice at all as the Lechol Toch Shana. Ach Hamarido Gazi Hochiach Rayas, he has Rayas the Balmum Gamkin who Minator Lechol Basoch Shana. So he's got a problem with this kasha. So Lechor, how could we be Mako and give it an extra 8 days? So Ahmed Gamkin Kushla now. That since Minatorah you could eat it the first day, why do you give it an extra 8 days? The Guf Din Zay Safek Nafel Minatorah, because they're saying that it's not Minatorah because you have a rov. So he says this question of a Safek Nafel is us Minatorah das Tosus to the Rabbanan. It can't be a Minarai. So like they're saying, does Lenin Basar Ruba and rov is a bar Kiyam. Medivri Harambam Nera. But the Rambam seems to say that who's fake the race. I don't know why. For some reason he doesn't go busser this rove, and he calls it a fake the race. But he says that's not going to help us, because even according to the Rambam, it's going to be kasha. The who's spherale this fake the race in Rabbanan l'chumra. it's only a D'Rabbanan. But in other words, Midrash, you could eat it the very time it's born and when it's born also. It's only Midrabbanan you can't eat it because it's like the race is mutter in the Torah. Im kain roy lachila miyom she nolad. So that's their kasha. So how could he be makel to give it an extra 8 days? I once told you, probably I tell everybody what happened or anyone else in Mexico.
Well, I think you mentioned he had to leave.
One of the main reasons he left Mexico, he had a good job over there. He was chief rabbi, and they treated him like royalty. He had to leave because the rabbi before him, who was a chashuv person, gave a heter to the slaughterhouses to shech the meat right away because the people wanted tender meat. And now, then you have to wait till the 8 days, and the Rabbani, you have to wait, even if you know it's Kol Chadash, you have to wait till the 8 days. And but this prophet gave that if you have simanim that it was Kol Chadash, he said you can be makel. And Ramoski looked up and he couldn't find any way to be makel. And he went around to all the gedolim in the world practically to find out anyone could be makel. Rabbi Moshe has a tshuva to that road, not to be makel. I don't think so now, but he went to Eretz Yisrael, he went to different people in Eretz Yisrael, Zalman, everybody, Yeshua, I think all kinds of people, and no one gave him the heter, so he said he couldn't stand there, so he said he couldn't stay because he couldn't be the Rabbi Machshir. He couldn't find the heter.
It's a situation because the previous rabbi allowed that.
And he wasn't STEM, he was a from person. I mean, he was, he was a chashuv rabbi.
Right. So the fact is that now you can't. It's.
The Rabbi Moshe told that rabbi, it's written in the Shiur, not to allow that. And he couldn't find another person that was making it, so he couldn't take the responsibility. And he said, I never realized that the slaughterhouses should be moved so much in 8 days because they wouldn't be able to sell all the meat. It doesn't make much sense to me. That people went by the meat at muscle was so tender. I don't know.
I'm shocked by how it's this sort of like, to me it tastes good. Okay, fine, but it's like it's shocking people being so mucked on
how tender it was.
Yeah, this and that.
Yeah, well, I'm not like that anyway, but the Maisa, I can't see there's such a big difference the first day or the 8th day. Not talking about years, we're talking about
that's the thing with veal. It's so we have all these things with veal, and
it's true, so I understand that. I wouldn't know the difference. Okay, anyway, so he's saying that according to Tosfos, it's only the Rabbanan because you have a robe, and even if the Rambam for some reason, he doesn't say why the Rambam doesn't hold to the robe, but even if he doesn't hold the robe, it's suffix, but he holds up the race of the Chumrah is only Midrabbanan. Im kain roy lachila miyom she nolad. The Ayin Merid Al-Ghazi, the Sefer the Sefer Pri Jul, Hagon of Zalman Margolius, Chelik Dal, but Shubas and Beis Gimel. I guess they go on this question. Let me just see if he says anything about it. He just says Mary McCollum, so he doesn't say what they. It seems that some people hold that according to the Rambam, that suffix deraisa is only the kula when it's Yeshiva Ner. But if it's a suffix deraisa, that's Yeshiva Ner, and here it's Yeshiva Ner because you could wait. So then you say suffix deraisa.
That's waiting in case, and then it's again afraid that it's not an evil.
No, that's how they're answering the question. So the first day you're not allowed to eat it. His question was, in the Torah you're allowed to eat it. Right? He's answering in the Torah you're not allowed to eat it according to Ram because it's a suffix that's Esher.
After the 8 days.
You could wait. So right now you're not allowed to eat it. So Lamaisa, you're not allowed to eat it. Nothing to do with being fair or not. Stemazay, right now you're not allowed to eat it because it's a Suffolk Nathan or not.
Right.
And it's Efshel Levarer, so you can't rely on, say, Suffolk Lekula.
But at on the eighth day,
even it won't be the Mafrei, it would be the same
it's
din.
just the fact that it's not.
It could be Mavar. You can't. In other words, they're saying it Klau. And he says, but that's what he's bringing. I guess he's bringing Marmakomos today, because at the end he says that the Ran holds, according to the Rambam, that even if it's Efshel Levarer, it's still Mutter Min Torah. I don't know. It was riots coming from the Rambam.
Right.
So but it must be the other Efshel he wanted to say. If it's Efshel Levarer, it's right. Ve'im avar ve'ichir ha'bechor la'achar shana, if he wasn't mekayim this mitzvah of a time of being makriv it the first year, or by balmum eating it the first year, if you hold this mitzvah by balmum, bein tam of bein balmum, afal beisha avar balav, that was the case by the tam oba essay, mikol makom lo nifsal, but the bechor does not become puzzle. Kain mevur b'ramam kan perik alam halachik yamul v'hu mishas, and it's a Gemara Rosh Hashanah hey on the days uzvachim chavtes and the makish b'chor l'maiser the ein nifsal mishan l'chaverta, just like maiser after the year of that maiser it doesn't become pasul, so b'chor after Itzman also doesn't become pasul. The ayin to tells the Rosh Hashanah sham divrei maskul ma hikshu the puzzle. Why would I have a half minute that it should become puzzle? It's sort of we have to have a learning out from a hekesh to meiser that it's kosher. Why would I think it's puzzle in the first place? It doesn't say it's puzzle, so why would I think it's puzzle? I have a sefer in my riddle gazi sheksha the highest svaral osra. He says there's a half minute to make it osra without a pasuk. It would puzzle it because there's a pasuk l'sochel call to eva. And you would think since you let it go past his man, it's kosher to the afterlook. Whenever it's a toeva, it has this lav. So therefore, you have to go through all the cases where we apply this lav of kol toeva. A pilpul, the sigad, the chulin, perikol, abasadav, kuftasalam, and aleph, when a kol toeva applies. So he's saying, so therefore, he's answering, anyway, if you hold, so that's what he's doing to answer Tosa's kasha. So without a special pasuk met there, you would say, well, it could be usher, it could be puzzle because it's called a toeva, kosher tiaftilach. Well, if he any is daiti, exactly when it's being up, well, shayach kosher tiaftilach, rak be maisa. He says it's only shayach if you do a maisa, for example, then where it says maybe when you cook usher b'challah, maybe it goes into kol toeva because he did a maisa to make it usher. All the kushas, the mer it says there's a kosher to have to apply over here. It doesn't apply, but all cases where hakoba maisa tiv, there was a maisa tiv done. Below us a maisa, but over here, like he just didn't eat before, he didn't bring makriv, he didn't do anything, right? Below us a maisa rak b'shev yaltasa lo shayach kosher tiaftilach. It's not going to be called a toeva. The ayin teriyevin. Hashem tears the kushas atosis, so Teriyevin gets a different answer. I don't know what it is. He doesn't say what the answer is, but so he's saying that the klal and kosher tiafti is only when it was a ma'aser toeva. So that answer isn't good.
The little note over here says that kasher dafa basra shenapol v'meil utol ikim shempol shetafti. So that's a ma'aser you didn't actually.
You didn't do the ma'aser.
In other words, it's interesting because is the toeva in the ma'aser vera of bishul basar b'cholov, or is in the fact? It's interesting because.
To me, man, it's that it's not only your ma'aser, but the Minchas Chinuch means the ma'aser toeva was done. The basar b'cholov was cooked.
Right.
That's called. In other words, it's not that you did an avera.
But I could see the argument for why it would be only the diet. That's a toeva. But maybe
okay, in my sefer he brings the same thing. I just looked.
Yeah.
He says, Joseph says you could ask your bas b'chala mishum l'socha kol toeva, af kishin espashal memela. The emes, he says, for kosh l'chalik ben espashal yidei goyo cotton espashal memela. Shprivayu leka ma'isa avera. Okay, the Rashi Shabbos b'chalash espashal yidei goyo b'kain aser who adin is partial male, it's usher. So that's what.
Right.
But I don't understand. I hear very clearly that
He says cotton as well.
you have to cut and cook the basar b'chalav.
Right. I mean.
There's no issue. He's trying to show that. Like he understands the reason that Maisa is a tway because he did a Maisa
right.
Isser, and by Goy or a cotton, there's no Maisa Isser.
Right. Whenever you get involved in a cotton doing, there's that whole issue about.
It's a Maisa Vera by a cotton, except he's not a Baronchi.
Right.
Okay, but by a Goy or like the Mishnah stuff, even the male.
The Goy. The fact that he threw in the language of cotton is that always raises that question.
Right. Well, he himself speaks about it. But this is someone else on the Bible.
Yeah, right. So he says when people have this issue.
Yeah, and he says the other Achronim bring another kasha because there's a Fri that says if a person Pasels kaching with machshava, like you could have pasel sometimes with lo lishma or a little machshava's pickle. Right. So he said there's a Safri that says that on that kaching that became pasel with machshava, there's an Israel v'socha kol toeva. So he's asking again. You see, there's no ma'isa because machshava is not considered a ma'isa. Yeah. Okay, but still different than a sheviel. In other words, you did something to make it a tway. You didn't do a ma'isa, but you did a machshava. You made it into a tway, but it didn't happen.
This case over here just happened.
Here it just was a shevi al tasa. Then he says some people say that basar b'chalav is considered a ma'isa because it was nishtana ayidei ma'isa because it became a vushel. So even if you didn't do it Ma'aseh Yadayim, right, but still it's considered like Ayidei Ma'aseh because it became Levushel, it changed because it's a Taweva because it's a new Metzias. But over here it's sort of like what I was saying, not exactly. But he's saying by a Bechor, you didn't do anything, nothing happened to the Bechor at all. Just that you didn't do it, you didn't bring it in time. Who says that's for Sfas Amis. He brings other people. Pite Mencha, I think that's from Gifter.
I mean, it's an interesting thing in terms of what makes it a Toledo. It would seem to be that the Maisa Vera would have to be a factor in what makes it a Toledo.
Yeah, well, that's obviously what these people hold. That's why they're asking a kasha on him.
Right. But
it could be the Metzias of basar b'chalav cooked together for whatever reason. It's a Toledo. No, they do it in the Vera.
Well, it already is a Shem Isra on it. I mean, basar b'chalav cooked together is a Shem Isra on it.
Right, that's why it's a Toledo.
Is everything that's usher Toledo?
That's the whole sugya. What things go into Toeva or not? What he's saying. Once the
little
basar b'chalav is Toeva, so it could be it's a new. This Metzias is considered a.
I mean, you do have that. You do have it right. I mean, the fact is, the word Toeva is applied to a lot of things that are usher, like pork or something. I mean, you see, like, so even born Toeva. So. Okay, so the fact is that. Okay, so once it's something usher, you can make it a Toeva.
So he's saying because the bishul makes it like a whole new Metzias.
And the Metzias that is inherently usher.
Right. Okay. So he's saying that he holds. So we're in the middle where he says by Yeshiva al Tasa he wanted to say there's no Toeva by Bechor. The Ayam B'Turiyevin Masha Tiritz, we don't know what the Turiyevin answered. V'asha Kosa Rashi V'chul and Kutyudalet Haray Begamim Goy Ukat and Bishul Bas V'chol Shach Kosh B'Yavtechach. So that was, he said, they call Makam or call Pari Nasa Maisa. So you see, he didn't mean this in the nice over there because he said Ukat, you could say, but not Goy. Right. So you see the Minchas Chinuch meant because the Maisa was done. So then the problem is, what about if the Tosa says even if it fell on the mail and you didn't put it in? So again, below Ma'aser Klal, like in this case, the Shevi Al Tasa Lo Shayach Zeh.
It's interesting because he might make a distinction between the Mela and Bishul by Gory Cotton. He actually still doing
yes, so we have to see more. The Nero Od Al Chiach Raila Zeh, Mishas Sham B'chul and Maksha Ravashi the Sober Esibas B'chol was B'lavda Tueva, U'parach Mi'Maiser Shabbos. Like if you cook something, let's say on Shabbos, and there's no Tueva Lav. Ukloya is Ryan, there's also no Tueva. The Chosein P. Shiur, I guess. Lama Lo Maksha Me Chomas Lachar Pesach. Why don't they more answer Chomas Lachar Pesach? When you're over by Yerah, why don't we call it a Tueva? I feel Rabbi Yehuda the Oser, it's only the Eish L'Krod, he has a Shri Psukim of Achila, one for even after Pesach Ulo Sofa. Rabbi Shimon them as Mater Min HaTorah, V'lo Dorish L'Krod Rabbi Yehuda. I am B'Sachim Chav Chas Abeis. The Im Nemer, the Gam B'Shevi Al Tasa, Hu B'Lav Zeh. Im Kein Lama Lev Rabbi Yehuda Kroa, and why does Rabbi Shimon Lama Mater? Why don't we say Vanevda Avera Shehishta B'Pesach V'Avar Abayirah Abayamatzeh V'Esed Tashbisa? Why don't we say Basar Chumash Avala Pesach? There's a lot of Tueva. So he's bringing a right to his chilik al korchach, Shevi Al Tasa Lo Shayach Tueva. Hey Nemes Lefis Veras Hashas V'Sachim Shem Rabbi Yehuda Oser V'Achra Pesach Afilu Chumash Shel Goy Im Kein Lo Nevda Avera. How came Tzarech Kral Asor? Because there was no Avera done, so he's saying that certainly shouldn't be a Tueva. Here he's saying if there was no Avera, shouldn't be a Tueva.
It says Rabbi Yehuda Oser's Lachar Pesach? Pil Chametz Shel Goy?
Yeah, well, there's a story. I don't think the word ends up on Rabbi Yehuda that way. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the Reb Shimon, the Rabbi, the Posek Kavase, Ba'achar Zmano, the Amar, the Kanas, they pass on Reb Shimon, it's really Mutter Minator, it's only a Kanas. Lam li Tamza, Tebu, Late Minator, Osmisham Lava Tueva, Elvada, Beshevi Altasa, Lo Shach Tueva, Kainir, Lafini Staiti, Viesh, Laharich Bazeh, Yehur, Makom, Achir. So he's saying there's a big difference between Chametz and Pesach, he says, and the case of Basar B'Cholov, because Basar B'Cholov is Nishtana, because it's a different Metzias, whereas Chametz and Pesach isn't a different Metzias.
Who's the person's?
Whereas even if you hold by Basar B'Cholov, when it fell in the Mela, you didn't do a Maisa.
But it was a Shtana B'Yir.
Because it's a new Metzias of the Bishul, right?
See, the thing that hits me with Basar B'Cholov is that it's a din Mechila. Like that's something that's oichel. By this thing over here, by chametz, it's an oichel, but you're not talking about Yisra Chili, you're talking about Bayiro Bayimatze. And I don't know if this makes a distinction, but
no, they meant since you're over by Bayiro, that should make it a Tueva, but it should be an Yisra Chili.
But there are other cases like that of something that.
Well, that was the case of Bechor.
That's a case that's under discussion. Before, in the sense of what you're being over is the fact you should have been makrovit. Does that now make in this rechil?
So that's what that rabbi said. Who was the one that said? That's what the Ridal Gazi answered Tosas Kasha. He said by Bechor what shaykh Tueva. I mean that's a Mitzvah argument that it's not shaykh.
But what's interesting is by Tueva by Basar B'Cholov. That's mamish well. I mean, especially if it's in the achila and you're not allowed to eat this, so therefore there's an extension of the concept of achila to toeva. Over here, they're talking about two issues that have nothing to do with achila. I mean, it just so happens that you did nevera. Okay, you weren't makar of the bechor. Does that mean you're not allowed to eat it? That's a completely different thing. I'm trying to think of a case where it's a toeva because of another avera that has nothing to do with achila, and then it says that manav shach you can't eat it. You know what I mean? Like is there it's like the Isra Achila is not really, it's like, it only comes from the Isra of Toeva. In other words, for some reason you did an Avera, a completely different Avera, Chametz, okay, therefore it should extend to an Isra of Achila, because there is no Mikvah.
I hear what you're trying to say. I was just looking at the cases he brought from Ma'aseh Shabbos. Ma'aseh Shabbos.
Ma'aseh Shabbos is not a Toeva. He says it's not a Toeva.
Fakir, he says that's one of the cases where the Gemara, he says the Gemara always asks why isn't it a Toeva?
Right.
The Gemara has to bring Psukim, but the Gemara doesn't say because it's not.
Oh, so therefore the fact
he brings it rather. He says all the cases the Gemara brings is Ma'aseh, but it seems to be saying that the Gemara held that why don't we say Toeva by Ma'aseh Shabbos, or let's say by Chosim P. Shiur.
Right. So it seems to be that otherwise you would say it.
Right.
So therefore it does become. Right. I was thinking, the fact is that I was thinking of that example of Shabbos, but that's the whole point. The very fact that the Gemara has
so you have to look at how the Gemara answers.
Right.
You have to see what the Gemara says over there.
Right.
But he says over here that by, on the Kasha and Reb Shimon by Chametz, he says Reb Shimon holds forward that Chametz Lachar Pesach is mutter because he's makish Chametz to matzah. That Chametz is only usher when there's an onion of eating matzah. So he says you can't ask a question, it should be usher afterwards. I mean, the Hekesh tells you that it's not usher, so you're not going to ask a kasha.
The difference between Chametz, there's Chametz and there's Chametz Shavuot Love Pesach. I mean, this is, okay, so he's saying that it's an interesting.
If the Hekesh tells you that Chametz is only usher when there's a mitzvah of matzah.
Right. Even Chametz, it's Shavuot Love Pesach, even though there's another reason to say that Chametz should be usher, the fundamental allowance. Okay. I mean, it's a. You're saying this Chametz is different. So
well, you have to know what the Havmina was. I mean, why, without the Pasuk Kol Toeva, why would I have thought without the Hekesh? Rabbi Yehuda says there's 3 psukim, so he uses one for it. But if you don't hold to the 3 psukim,
right.
So why would Rav Shimon need us? Why would he have to come onto the second? Stam said there's no reason to make it usher after Pesach.
So he's saying that the Hekesh is Rabbi Yehuda's is Rabbi Shimon's reason. And his concern was in Toheba.
That's what someone over here on the bottom says.
Okay. It's interesting.
It's all Pilpul. He said that's Minchas Solus. That's another sefer in the Minchas Chinuch. These are like, so it must be a very interesting sugya over there. Okay.
Keep it short. Okay.
Okay. Just see what time it is because I don't want to.
9:20. It's 9:22.
Okay, we have time.
Okay.
So now he says, "V'hinei b'masha kasavnu le'el sivka and aleph dafilu b'chor shenolad b'mumo mitzvah lakdisho." Because we said every b'chor is kaddish me'rechem and you have to be makdish it. And he said even a balmum you have to be makdish it, even though it's not going to be brought as a korban. Ayin rishana heyam abeis the nirasham the nafka because it says in Hashem lekecha b'chor. I don't know. Chomer Bechor Ein Shem Lefia Girsa. And that's talking about Baal Ta'acher. Mikam Lakam Bechor Ba'mum Enu Baal Ta'acher. Ein V'Turi Even. In other words, if you pass it the year, there's no Baal Ta'acher. Im Kain Kan D'Chsiv Taklish L'Hashem Esher Dafka Tam. Ava Ba'mum Ein Mitzvah Lakdisho B'Peh. There's this pasuk where it says Taklis Hashem happens to be talking in the parsha about Tacher, and that's by a P'tam. So he's saying maybe he's changing now. He's saying maybe there is no mitzvah of Taklis by a Bechor Baal V'yesh L'chalik. Maybe there's a chalik between Baal Tacher and being Makdish. The Inyan Hamumin. So what's the Inyan Hamumin? So the Chinuch said, if you want to know about the Mumin, which is a Mumkavua, which is a Mumover, and the differences on halacha, and who you trust to say it's a Mum. So you have to learn the sugyas and the Gemaras and Brachos. So Zakta Minchas Chinuch, I hope he's not going to go into defining and showing each mum, because they don't have a picture of these things. These are mum kavua, devarm elam, devarm darichas, beranam hilchosism, is bach perik al. V'achiluk, shamum kavua, the difference between if something is a mum kavua or just a mum over, shamum kavua, nishchat b'chol makom, it's for sure never going to be a korban, so you could check that it's like chulin, we say like a korban mum. Mum over, lo nishcha b'medina, v'lo amikdash. I guess you have to wait till the mum goes by. Hayin shamaram, you can't check it. V'lekam parashas emor b'chibur zeh, shetod l'shem yisbarach harach b'ksas b'nyani ha-mumin. Okay? L'reish perik dal me'yisur mizbech mavur, Shaharoveya v'hanirva v'hemis ha'adam al pi bailim, because they're neman, al pi eid achad, v'hanevad, that was, they served the animals of Vodazara, v'hamuksa, they set it aside for Vodazara, kulam lo nikravim al mizbech, nothing to do with the bechor, this is by all animals, such animals can't be put on the mizbech, but lo niftim, and you can't be put of them. V'chein kosav ha'rambam kan, perik beis halacha gimel gabi bechor. The whole Ela Yiru, you let them graze. Achiipu by a mum kavu till they get a mum kavu, and I guess then you're opposed to them. Vayim b'marido gasi sheherich tamavur b'zvachim the muksa v'neved o shaykh achar hektish. How could you have a muksa or neved if it already was hektish before? Because they know the moser dara sheino sheh lo. So if a person is over a zara to this animal which is hektish, he can't answer it. So it can't be muksa, it can't set it aside for a zara, and you can't be over it. Rak Rabbi Yossi Aglili, the sober kachim kalim is mum and bailim, ayin shem adavka fidal with amal aleph. Right? So according to them it is yours, and you could answer it if you serve it. But Rambam eich daito, when as far as what does the Rambam hold, if kachim kalim is mum and bailim or not, does he hold like Rabbi Yossi Aglili, although there's different steers I remember. I'm a Mishnah Melech Perik Dal Ila Halacha Chasha Pilpul B'Divrei Rambam, the Pami Posek Rabbi Yossi Aglili, the Pami Mea Posek Avosei, and there's problems on how to understand the Rambam. The Perik Dalid, he Surim is Baas Posek a Rambam, the Nevet Shach Afilu Acher Huktish. So that seems to be that he holds that Kachim Kalim is mum and bailing because he could be answer it with Ovid. However, Ach Muksa Lo Shach Achbeklish. Aina the Moser Dever Shaino Shah Lo. So then what's the difference between Nevad and Muksa? In a Masha Posik, the Nevad Asra Filach Aklish Lam Lachamisha Shapilpawal. The Tumal Ram, why don't we say Aina the Moser Dever Shaino Shalom? Al Kolpain, the Muksa Posik, Dana Posik Aklish. L'chor hu kaddish mirechem, and l'chor is kaddish from birth. Im kain eich pasuk kan the muksa yira ve'enu karev. So he's saying l'chor by b'chor there's a psul muksa, right? Because he says yira ve'enu. He says how is a child a muksa? It's already kaddish. In other words, he didn't ask the kaddish on neva because for some reason the Rambam holds you could have neva after hektish, but by muksa you can't have it. So how do you have it by b'chor? Hashem avur l'hapach. The frat before the Mavur Babakama Yud Gimel and Bams the Gabi Matnas Kun and Moder of Yossi Aglili Gam came to Kachim Kalim having Mam and Gavoa. And then Bechor is Matnas Kun, so he should agree it's Mam and Gavoa. So certainly how could he have Muksa? The Afilim Nomer the Raman Stirlate Bechol in Mam and Bailam, he doesn't make a chiluk between Matnas Kun or not. We call Makum the whole Sixurim is Be'er Kasa, the Chol Kachim, they ain't Shaykh Lafar Hektish. Al Clark is posted the local Yosef Williams it doesn't hold its mama Bible. In Keneich Krasel Kanda Muksa Yira that you should let it graze. Walamba Lachasi Black Rabbit. The Psul Muksa shouldn't be Chal. I should my read Al Gasik Sheherich on this Kasha, the Tiritz Bedochuk, the Rama Mairi, the Emo Nevda Oik Sasoy. He's not going on the Vlad and the Bechor but on the mother. The Vu Abraham and Perik only sermons Bechel of the Bezi Gimel Dima Aim Haisa Muberis and Nevda Boavera Hasrim have Lados in his Bech the Kodim Shanola Ain Emachor Kaddish Ayin Shah. So therefore Alkain Yira the Lo Chazik like Krab Ayin Shah Shekasa Zadofik, because the Zatzan the Rambam is talking about the mother, not about the Vlad. The Havli the Rambam Liftu Farish. If that's what the Rambam meant, he should have spoken about the mother and not spoken about the Uber.
Does that work? if a mother is nevda, so the blood becomes asur mizbeach, and therefore it doesn't have a din of bachor kodesh.
No, there's no problem that how could the Isser be chal on it, because it was chal before it became Kaddish. His whole problem was that the course Kaddish may rechus, so how could the Isser be chal?
But here the Isser is already on it before it was born, and therefore the status of before doesn't fall in it, even though it's a Paterach.
So it's muksa.
Right.
I don't know if the status of the Torah, maybe you're saying that, I don't know if that's the fact, that maybe it just means that there's no problem. How could Muksa be chal on it? Muksa was chal before.
No, I said, but he says, Eina before Kodesh. Kodesh Anola, Eina before Kodesh.
Yeah. When it was chal, it wasn't Kodesh then. He's not saying after it was born, he says, at that point where it became Muksa, it wasn't Kodesh yet. So the Muksa is chal.
And therefore, when it's born,
it's also it may has a psul muksa. I don't know. He doesn't go into if it's kaddish or not. That's what you're saying.
So it might have. So it might have.
Might be a peterecha, might be bechor, but it's a bechor which is muksa.
So it might have a din of some kind of kedusha that's a bechor.
It was muksa. I mean, the whole problem was the other ones are bechors, and except those isurim could be chal afterwards. His own chasha was by muksa. How could it be chal afterwards if it's already kaddish? Ain't the most or ever sheno shalos. So in this case, it was chal before it became kaddish.
And that's the problem in all these cases, with nevad and stuff like that. So.
But you don't have to come on to this case for all those other cases, like a roveya or an erva becomes puzzle. It's not ain't the most or ever sheno.
Because they're all
remela when an animal's roveya.
Yeah, that's something to do with the
person making a puzzle.
It's not. That's why I was bothered by it as well. It's not that the person's making a puzzle and doing it to the moment of the ball. It's the act itself makes it puzzle.
By Rabbi and Rabbi, all those things. Yeah.
Right. Even though it's someone else doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
The animals are what's provided.
Because that's on the din in the moment. It's the din in the action.
Right.
Yeah.
By muksa, it's the person's act, and ain't the most ever sheno shalom.
Right.
Okay, we're going to stamp here.